All right, all right, all right. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
I'm feeling good. We got the Panthers in the Stanley Cup final. That starts up, and we just covered our last open OTA of these 2 weeks, and then we have Dolphins mini camp next week. So a lot going on.
All right. And let me ask you, yesterday I was tripping out with one of your posts because Tua, I get it. You have to. Tua's the thing that draws to everything. So Tua throwing the ball in the rain and having no issues and all that. And to me, that video was more about Malik actually catching the ball. And to me, that's what I would have asked you. Did Malik catch every ball thrown to him? Because that's what I'd like Malik to do this year is actually catch every ball thrown to him. He dropped too many last year. You know, part of one of the issues that Hill and Waddle is that they have a tendency of dropping key balls in key moments, not just dropping balls, but dropping key balls. And Malik actually dropped way too many balls last year. And I love him as a player. And his catch rate was sick in college. So it was completely unlike him last year to have all those drops. That's what I'm looking for. So I would ask you, I'm not worried about Tua. I worry more about Malik. Did he catch everything yesterday? Or did he drop yesterday?
Yeah, no, I didn't see a drop from Malik Washington. So now maybe could there have been something on like another field while wide receivers were doing their stuff, but not in any team action. So good to see that. And you're right. He should be securing passes, considering the volume that he got, which wasn't that high. Then he should be hitting a very high percentage of a catch rate. So securing those balls, which he did well in college. So that was a difference from what we saw as a rookie in the NFL. So, I mean, sometimes ball comes at you differently. Hey, receivers do talk about the left-handed spin being different for them when it gets to them. I know probably a lot of people listen to that and think it's not a big deal. It's bullshit. But, ball comes at you differently when it's thrown from a left-handed quarterback. So there is an adjustment. And also just when you get into a new scheme, then you're worried about so many other things. Maybe you forget some of the basics, looking the ball in like he did in college. So hopefully he can get back to some of that and be more effective on that. Another thing I will say, though, is
by the way, my counter to that, okay, is I know in baseball they bench your ass if you're not good against a righty or a lefty. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's kind of the way it is because the ball comes at you differently from a righty or a lefty. It's the same thing. There is an adjustment to it. But the really good players adjust to everything. Oh, yeah. And they would have hit a righty or a lefty. That's why they bat 300 plus, because they can hit righties or lefties. So that's what I would say to the people that say, well, the ball comes out differently. Well, bro, if you're a receiver, you're there to catch it from a right-hander, from a left-hander. You're there to catch it on your right side, on your left side, over your shoulder. If you can reach it, you should catch it. You know, that's kind of what it is. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I always find that as a cheap excuse, and I always gear it over to baseball and say, okay, so then you're a specialist. I can only use you when I have a right-handed quarterback. I can't use you for a left-handed quarterback. Is that it? Or because I've seen Tyreek Hill drop passes, all over the place with different guys, but is it really because he's left-handed? Not really. It's a lack of concentration.
Yeah, no, and especially once you've practiced so much with a left-handed throwing quarterback, then you have to be able to adjust and be used to that spin.
And we're not talking about a left-hander that throws a rifle. We're talking about a left-hander that throws you Charmin.
Yeah, catchable balls. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to note, just because my mind took me to this place, was from listening to Jaylen Waddle talk yesterday. He was mentioning how Robert Prince, the new wide receivers coach, he's so big on hand-eye coordination drills, and that's why Jaylen Waddle was talking about how he took up juggling So because Robert Prince, that assistant coach, is trying to get him to do that in order to work on that hand-eye coordination. He was very proud of himself. Jaylen Waddle was to have picked it up in like 2 days watching a TikTok tutorial, and the Dolphins released like some social media video of that. So that's just an interesting thing. Let's see if it turns into some a diminish of drops for the Dolphins if this helps.
Again, concentration. It's up to them not to have that. Here's another thing, and we can have a conversation about this. When a receiver can check in and out of plays, which is not something I'm ever really used to. I'm used to watching, if you're Oronde Gadsden, bro, you're on the field. He doesn't want to come off the field. He'll be off the field when the defense is out there, when the special teams is out there, when there's a timeout, when it's halftime. You got plenty of time to rest. I never heard of Irving Fryer wanting to be out of a play or on a 3rd and 15 against Green Bay. I've never heard of anything like that with a top-tier receiver. They're so selfish and so self-centered normally. They want to be there on those kind of moments. And not only do they want to be there, they want to get the ball. So to me, when players can check in and out like that, it also allows them mentally to check in and out. And so then you got to turn it on, turn it off. And I find that to be a little disruptive mentally. I would have my top receivers never resting. They can, if they need to rest, then they're not in shape, because in football, you don't run enough to be out of shape, especially a wide receiver. You're playing a few downs. That's it, dude. Then you go rest. You should have much more energy than that to last all the way through. I don't understand that. I really don't.
Yeah, it's always perplexed me because you're in world-class shape, or you should be. You're a wide receiver, so you're already one of the more athletic. In fact, probably, for a lot of these guys, the most athletic. I know like some edge rushers are freaks with a combination of size and speed, but as far as just straight speed and what should be endurance at your size, then yeah, you should be some of the most athletic football players, let alone athletes overall. So
I can counter with this. How come Sealer and Wilkins didn't come off the goddamn field?
Right, as bigger guys who, sure, they're running shorter distances, but it's so high intensity, using so much power while also running. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
That's it. That's
okay.
it. You nailed it. Bro, you're fighting a 300-pound fat man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Down after down after, you're using way more energy than any receiver or tight end or anything like that. Is your left tackle coming off the goddamn field?
Right.
Is your right guard coming off the goddamn field? No. What do you mean you need a rest? That's this soft ass Mike McDaniel approach, dude.
And this is in a system. This is in a system where the offensive linemen need to be athletic, because outside zone, they're getting out there, and they're not just sitting in a pocket or creating a pocket and stepping back in pass protection all the time. When they run block, it's get out to the outside, guards pulling and all that. And for big men, that gets you tired, gets you huffing and puffing after 1 or 2 plays. So I'm always surprised. I could understand when it's like 2-minute drill and a wide receiver ran all the way down the field on the go route, and then it's like they gotta clock the ball, and he has to run all the way back. And yeah, that shit is, you're running suicides on the football field the whole length. But
the only thing I would give you a break on that argument is if it's specifically the dude that has 9 catches, 11 catches, 180 yards, and it's the fourth quarter, and it's not the other receiver that has 62 yards and 4 catches. He should be fresh. I get that guy that's dead tired. But if both receivers or all 3 or whatever, none of them are really having an extraordinary day, you should be more than fresh and ready to go. If you have taken a beating and all that, and you had to carry the offense or whatever, I get that guy being tired. God bless you, bro. You're probably the only reason you're in the game is probably because of his effort. So I can understand that dude being tired. But I cannot understand any receiver being ever tired because, as I said, offensive linemen are playing every down. We watched Wilkins and Sealer never come off the field. And the effort they give is way more than any skilled person outside of maybe a running back that has to carry the ball 25 times, that he takes a pounding always. You know what I mean? I just find it to be a cheap excuse and a weak excuse for me.
Yeah. And my mind actually went to two different places quickly here. First, I was thinking, okay, I could see one way for receivers where you need your speed and agility so much that, okay, once you are getting a little tired, if you're actually not getting the same push, I can understand, yeah, get someone fresh in there. But then I quickly countered that in my own head thinking, no, wait, but the DBs don't come off the field either. Those cornerbacks who have to run with these receivers, and they're even reacting to what the receivers do, which is another level of it. They're not coming off the field to get a breather. So, yeah, so I really just countered my own self in my head there. So I really still don't see a way.
It's diva bullshit, bro. That's all it is. It's diva bullshit. It's DBS. Okay, that's what we gotta call it. It's DBS. That's what it is. Diva bullshit is what it is. It doesn't make any sense. And like last year when they walked off the field on 3rd and 16 or 3rd and 15 in Green Bay against Green Bay, and they put those two other kids there that had no business being there, and Tua hit one right there, and he drops it. And the other guy ran the wrong route. And, it's like, this is why you are who you are, McDaniel, because you allow people to walk all over you. What do you mean your receivers need a rest? And how are Waddle and Tyreek allowed to take a break? I can't imagine that with Jimmy Johnson. I can't imagine that with Shula. I can't imagine that with Flo. I mean, they're some of the disciplined guys you've had here. Even Adam Gase, I think, would lose his shit for something like that. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen that, dude. I've just never seen that. I've never seen a receiver that doesn't want to be on the field in a 3rd and 15, which is an obvious passing down.
Yeah, that's the other part of it. Where you need to go downfield, right?
Right.
Or, I mean, maybe you're gonna give in and hand it off or something, or run a screen, but still at least have the presence of. Maybe.
Where did they go when you were gone? They still went downfield.
Yeah. To Grant Dubose.
Yes. And right. They still, in another down, they tried it with the other idiot, and he ran the wrong route.
Yeah.
Like, there you go. It's like, come on, dude. And this is why you're a failure. You cannot. Leaders have to be, bro. What we're going to watch tonight. Do those guys ever want out? With all the hitting and checking and slamming and everything for 3 periods, and they come back 2 days later to do it all over again. Do any of those guys ever want to rest? Ever?
Yeah. Well, I guess in hockey you do have line shifts too, though. So,
but my point is, they're not asking out ever. Those people can have broken bones, and they can you have to drag those sons of bitches off the damn rink, is what I'm saying. These guys just walked off.
Yeah,
just walked off. I mean, it's actually a great discussion that they get to do things that the D linemen don't get to do, the offensive linemen, the D backs, all the stuff you talked about. None of those people can say, hey, I need a breather. None of them can do it. You can't take your top corner out. What? Hey, offense. We just took out our best player in the secondary. He's going to go rest. You guys go do your thing.
I'm imagining this in my head. But by the way, speaking of a top corner being Jalen Ramsey for the Dolphins the last 2 years, I thought we were going to have breaking news. I saw he tweeted while you were talking, but it turns out now maybe there's an underlying message. I don't know, but it was a Bible verse that he tweeted out. So I'm not sure if within this Bible verse he's trying to say something about his Dolphin situation, but I don't think they're related. We don't need to think that every athlete's tweet is related to his business.
Hold on a second. I just want to know, is Adam Schefter part of the Trump administration?
Is Adam Schefter part of the? Well,
he made a declaration a week and a half. Oh, there's so much interest in Jalen Ramsey. Well, it's June 4th, and we don't have a deal in place. It's kind of like the Trump administration. Yeah, we're going to do 90 trade deals in 90 days. Yeah, sure you are. And hey, where's your $5,000 Doge check? Have you gotten that in the mail yet?
I'm supposed to get a $5,000 Doge check?
Well, that's what I heard. Elon Musk, we're going to save. So maybe we'll send everybody a $5,000. Did you get one? I'm just wondering. Hey,
but I could use one.
Is the war in Gaza over? Or is it over? I'm just saying, lots of promises made. I'm just wondering. Schefter's told everybody, oh, there's all this interest for Jalen Ramsey. You would figure on everybody, oh, well, June 1st, we'll have a deal. Well, it's June 4, no deal. No deal.
Yeah. I think you were overreading that Schefter report. I think he was just saying that, yes, there still are talks going on. It's not like it's radio silence. It didn't mean like something's imminent, you know?
No, go look at it. He made it sound like it's more robust than you think. That's the way I'm paraphrasing, but that's exactly the way find that tweet. He said, somebody out of the 134 that's there right now, please go find that tweet. I'm sure he phrased it like there's more interest than you think. Like, hey, I know there's more people that really want. I'm telling you, he was doing a sell job for the agent or something, doing him a favor and throwing it out there like that, because that really doesn't commit. It leaves it open. It doesn't mean. Yeah, there was interest, but I guess they couldn't come to an agreement.
Right. There's always an out when it's working.
There's always an out. It's one of those, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm sure it was phrased something like that, you know? And it was like, come on, you know? So what's going on with Jonnu? Because the giraffe got injured yesterday. David Parham, okay? That dude's like 87 feet tall. And he's a tight end, and so the Steelers lost him yesterday. So I would imagine that's what ended up juicing these talks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you saw the back and forth with Schefter's reports, where I guess whoever gave it to him that the Steelers were kind of backing off of the Jonnu Smith trade talks, that source had to eat their words when just moments later, then one of their tight ends goes down. So
Schefter was wrong on that one too?
Well, I wouldn't say it was wrong. I would say that it probably was really happening, that the Steelers were it was cooling off with the Steelers. I confirmed that initial report, but as far as the Steelers part of it, I'm not going to get too much on that. But so I'm going by what Schefter reports there. But yeah, I mean, I could totally buy it that it cools off, and then you have an injury like that, a tight end goes down in OTAs, and now, yeah, you are right back into those Jonnu Smith talks. So and probably with greater urgency now than they were previously.
I wonder if Aaron Rodgers would go, hey, you know, I like throwing to the tight end. Yeah, go get him.
Yeah, trade for Jonnu Smith before you've even secured Aaron Rodgers off of Aaron Rodgers' request.
Well, hey, Pat Riley drafted a player.
The best pick here, right?
He drafted that guard, and then he went and got Danny Granger and Bob, and he like, hey, I've got Danny Granger and Bob for you.
Yeah. Oh man. Now that was a case where LeBron James was a member of the Heat still at the time, and then
he was deciding on.
Yeah. It was an opt out to then go into free agency and move on. But
he wasn't deciding shit. Whatever. I mean, it's like why would we lie to ourselves? He didn't care, bro. He wasn't coming back.
Yeah. But remember that did catch Pat Riley off guard when that whole meeting in Vegas went down, the tone of it. So definitely, at least internally, the Heat had no idea until it got really late down the road. Like, okay, he might actually be leaving us.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. What else? What else are we expecting? What did you see in camp that you liked?
Yeah, I guess we'll start with I like that they're practicing outside. I mean, you get rain back-to-back days because we covered Tuesday, and then we also know that on Monday with this torrential downpour that we've had in South Florida. I think in the past a lot of Dolphins teams would have just gone inside. It's OTAs, make sure everyone's safe, keep them in the bubble, keep them in bubble wrap as you stay off the wet conditions and. I almost felt like this is what you do. If you are trying to change the culture and be tougher, you go practice outside. You prepare yourself for these kind of conditions, which you could very well see in South Florida at Hard Rock Stadium on one of these home games, especially early in the season, in under a stadium that's covered by a canopy, but the field isn't. So you can get the rain down there, and not to mention Tua has had struggles with wet balls in the past. So now you get those reps, and now it builds some confidence that you can go out and play in these kind of conditions if you were ever to see them in season. So that's one thing. I like one guy who's been standing out, Grayson Murphy off the edge. He was a guy who got injured last year, undrafted player, showed some flashes, if you remember, from early last training camp and some of the OTAs last year. So I think he's showing flashes again. He was in the backfield a lot. So another edge rusher that he could be a dark horse candidate to make the team, surprise people, and rise up if he stays healthy. So that's one thing. And yeah, I mean, I still feel it's a struggle for a lot of these young cornerbacks. We know that's going to be an issue. So definitely that first OTA, Jaylen Waddle, whoever the Dolphins put in front of him, he was just tearing them up. As you expect, Jaylen Waddle, he's a guy who has earned his second contract as a former number 6 pick in the draft and a productive wide receiver. Had a little bit of a down year last year, but you had Cam Smith in front of him. He burned him, and Cam Smith pulled up limping. But whoever was in front of him among these young cornerbacks, it shows that the Dolphins still have a need there, as I'm sure they know internally, and will be pursuing one of these veteran cornerbacks that remain available.
Any idea on who? What are they waiting for? Are they waiting closer to training camp so that these guys don't, since they're older and they don't want to get them injured or anything? Because they're actually not signing with anybody. So I'm wondering if anybody is waiting for, they don't need them right now. They just want to see what they have right now at this point.
Right. So see what you have internally, and then I look at Asante Samuel Jr. still. I know there's the neck issues that are concerning. You have to probably get some more feedback on his situation before you can fully commit. But that would be a South Florida return for him, a little homecoming, because he went to St. Thomas Aquinas down here before Florida State and then the Chargers. Rasul Douglas, of course, and he's an older one, so I could totally see him being one of those cases of you just take it to, like, after mini camp is over. Yeah, you can get caught up to speed in the month before training camp, and you're all good there. Asante Samuel is still only 4 years in the league, and in his mid-20s. So still relatively young, but he is coming back from a serious neck injury. So it's not like he would even be out there for OTAs and minicamp. So, and these guys, they haven't signed with anyone else. So they just remain available through all this. And I wonder if the Dolphins are a big sort of domino for them. It's like, who are the Dolphins going to pick up? Because that's obviously a huge opportunity for any of these veterans where you're not going to have much competition. Like, you are a starter, surely, and then maybe some other dominoes fall with all those guys going to other franchises depending on what develops.
I expect that move to happen after these mini camps are done, and then bring them in, and then they check them out, all that, and then they give him the playbook, and then he's got a month before training camp starts, and then they start him with training camp, because these guys don't need mini camps. They don't need any of this shit. And all you're going to do is put him out there and possibly injure him like Parham got injured. To me, that's all I give a shit about these mini camps. Did anybody get injured yesterday?
No. Yeah, we would see someone maybe like run in, but then come back out. So Yeah, all good. And that's in an outdoor practice too. Even Cam Smith, who he was back out there after he pulled up that first OTA, or the first one that was open for us to watch. So yeah, that's good. Yeah, even he was back.
That, to me, that in minicamp, that's what's successful, bro. That everybody stays healthy, because this is all mental reps for them, so they can learn the plays and the timing and all that. And then that way, once you put on the pads and you're really hitting and you're playing preseason games and all that, you've gone over all this a whole bunch of times in minicamp. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what it's all about. I just want guys to be healthy, because all these practices are just, mental reps. So don't ruin anybody's season on these kind of things. So I expect that veteran DB to be signed after the final mini camp. And then that way they don't have to take the field again until training camp.
Yeah. And it could be a Asante Samuel, Russell Douglas, could be a James Bradbury, even a Stephon Gilmore. So those guys are even more up there in age. And hey, still, Kendall Fuller is still out there. They released him. He's still available. You can never count out sort of like a late in the offseason move of a return after you cut him at last year's salary. Maybe he doesn't find a spot, and then you can bring him back at a lower salary and save some money. So remember, like with Emmanuel Ogbah, that happened last year when the Dolphins had Shaq Barrett retire on him right before training camp. Ogbah was released just a few months earlier, and then they brought him back on to fill that need. And he actually had a decent season and now actually earned a free agent contract with the Jaguars for Ogbah. So I guess don't count out Kendall Fuller just returning, as he would be an easier player to just get caught up to speed since he was already with the team last year in Anthony Weaver's defense.
I just think it'll probably happen till after. By the way, true fan, he goes, can you ask Furones if McDaniel canceled practice so the rain and made a barbecue inside? He probably joined this late. He didn't cancel practice yesterday. He made him practice in the rain yesterday, so that was good. So no inside bubble practice overall. So we'll see. I was going to tell you. Your thoughts on McDaniel talking about playing young players and the fact, really, that I forgot which one of you guys asked the question about not having a lot of veterans on this team now that you've lost a lot of veterans. And it's basically this team has to count on a lot of young players because they have no choice.
Yeah, it's not the veteran-laden group that you have seen from McDaniel's first year when they brought in, you still have a Tyreek Hill here, but they brought in a Teron Armstead, and he's no longer here. He retired. The next offseason, you add a Bradley Chubb, that trade deadline. You bring in Calais Campbell later down the road, and now he's gone. Like Jordan Poyer for a year, and he was another player that was up there in age. And so this is more, they don't want to say like soft reset or anything. And I understand that because we use these terms of on the outside of whether it's win now approach or like resetting. Now, no NFL locker room is going to go by a reset. So whether you have young players or veterans, they're out there obviously trying to win and maximize on their opportunities. So obviously that's never going to be what's pitched in that locker room, in that building. But it's going to take a shift of how you do it, where it's new leaders coming up from below where they were before. They have to step up. Like Zach Sealer doesn't have a Calais Campbell with him on the D-line. He is the guy now. Like Austin Jackson is now has to rise to a prime leader for the O-line in that room. We were talking to him about that yesterday. Now that Teron Armstead is gone, so different guys have to take different roles. Someone in the secondary has to step up and be that guy immediately. Where you have like Cater Kohu right now is the elder statesman in there, and the safeties, although you brought in a couple in free agency, those guys are new too. Because you revamped that entirely. So it's going to take new leaders. It's going to take a core of these younger players from the past few classes, like Devon Achane, Chop Robinson, and now you bring in your Kenneth Grant and your Jonas Avainaya. All these guys to learn and develop and grow quickly. And I think this is actually what Mike McDaniel is better suited for is taking in a young guy and developing him more so than leading a veteran locker room that's already seen a lot in the NFL, and that you kind of have to be a voice that is up there like, I am the guy that talks to you, and I'm the guy that directs you when you're already this established veteran. I think he's better suited to take in a younger player, rookies that are growing in the league.
He didn't do a good job with Skyler. Julian Hill continues to be an absolute screw up. Tanner Connor has been on this team for like 67 years. Waddle has not grown as a player to be, we can't say from year to year so far in the league he's gotten better and better. He has not actually. There aren't a lot of examples where I can say, even with Tua, I credit him giving Tua confidence, but I think Tua's a mentally tough son of a bitch, and he would succeed with. He dealt with Saban, dude. I mean, I don't know. I don't look at it that way. Give me other players that you say he's so good for young. I kind of disagree with that, dude. I don't think he's good in any level, young or old.
Now, you know me, I do credit him for having Tua take a step up. I think the previous, it was a down year for Jaylen Waddle, but I think he did have a great step up in 2022, 23. Now, of course, part of that is, yes, Tua's rising his level of play those seasons, while you also have a Tyreek Hill to complement you. So, yeah, there's a lot of factors, but it all goes hand in hand. Devon Achane, I would say for sure. He has done a good job with the offensive side.
Waddle balled the last year with Flo.
Yeah.
He balled. You put him in the middle, and he played tough football for a whole year, got 1,000 yards.
That was his rookie year. He caught a lot of passes, but it was just short shit.
That's not his fault. You put him in that role that he does not belong in, and the son of a bitch was awesome. He was awesome. He was tough. He hung on to all the footballs. He didn't drop a lot of footballs that year compared to the Mike McDaniel years, actually. And he played a much harder game for Flo because they had nobody. And since they had no time for outside plays to develop, they had to put their only playmaker inside. Dude, I totally understand the whole logic and everything that they did, because that's all they could do. They don't have a lot of time. I mean, the kid was going to get killed back there if he actually hung on to the ball. You know what I'm saying? So I totally understand what they did. I love the way Waddle played that first year. I don't hold any of that against him. You asked him to play that role, and he played that third down receiver, move the chains role for you. It's not his role, but that's what you asked him to do. And he did it. I mean, it was glorious, dude. For a rookie to be that tough, clutch, that was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
He was even voted team MVP by the media who covers the team. Now, it was a little bit of a controversial vote. I know I was, for that 2021 season, I was definitely on board with Xavier Howard. I felt he deserved it that year. Yeah. So it was kind of a split vote. Like, it was very tight. As far as a lot of people gave it to Waddle because he was really the only offensive weapon on that team, which I think also goes into why we got so much volume. It was because, hey, who else are you going to throw to? It was him and Mike Gesicki, a little bit Devontae Parker too, but
and attention.
Yeah.
So
that comes with it too.
You knew you had to corral that son of a bitch, because if you didn't, there's nobody else that was going to hurt you and house it. So make sure whenever he catches it, you can't stop him. Just corral him. You even helped my argument. I even forgot that he was in the MVP race, but I do remember that year for me, my respect for Waddle went to another level, because I hated that they put him in that position because he didn't belong there. But the tough son of a bitch was awesome. Awesome.
You knew you had something right away that rookie year with Waddle. But I mean, I would say Mike McDaniel's offense took him to even another level for his second and third year. And Austin Jackson is also a name. Got to say, Austin Jackson, he also took a step with McDaniel, earned his second contract, still had some injuries, battled through that, came back that 2023 season, got him another contract, and then just the injury bug again, because I think he's a reliable right tackle now.
McDaniel there or Barry? You going with McDaniel
What's
there?
that?
McDaniel or Barry? Who coaches the offensive line?
Go hand in hand because it's McDaniel's system, and Butch Barry is McDaniel's hire too. And Butch Barry is the only offensive line coach to return back to the Dolphins for a second and now third season in ages. I mean, it was like every offseason before that, there would be a day where we write about the new offensive line coach and how many consecutive years it is that the Dolphins have a new offensive line coach. So finally, there's some stability at that role.
What year is this for McDaniel?
So now we're going into year 4.
Okay, and this is year 3 for Barry.
3 of Butch Barry. So he did fire his first one, Matt Applebaum.
Right, and when did Austin Jackson turn the corner? The last 3 years. I'm just saying, I don't credit anything on the O-line. I give it to Barry because that's when the O-line improved. When they added Barry, that's when they started playing much better.
But remember that 22 season, Austin Jackson just played in 2 games. Each time he hurt his ankle and landed on injured reserve again. So it's like we never got to see. And I remember talking to you about it, with you about exactly that we still don't know because he got hurt. And so I think we might have seen exactly what we did in 23 from Jackson in that 22 season had he been healthy. I think he was on the track for it. It's just the injuries got to him, and give him credit that he bounced back from that. And quickly, I did want to say, because you mentioned Tanner Connor's name, he also stood out. He made a lot of nice catches down the sideline, beating coverage. He looks bigger again. He was a converted receiver. I remember there was a past off season where we talked about how he gained some muscle, and he looks like he's added even more muscle. Like now he looks like a true NFL tight end with his build. And he made some impressive catches, going up, getting balls on the sideline. He slid for one next to the sideline where a bunch of defenders were. So he had an impressive practice too. I wanted to just mention his name as well.
And Austin, by the way, looks felt. Like he doesn't look like an offensive lineman at times. When he was standing at the podium, I was like, damn, he's kind of skinny for an offensive lineman. So he's really athletic, man. If he can stay healthy, they'll be fine on the right side, dude. They'll be fine on the right side. All right, what do you got going on the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, I was. I wrote about Patrick Paul yesterday. So big offseason for him, and we spoke to him about the transition of going from what's basically an NFL redshirt season last year, but he still got some playing time because Armstead was in and out of the lineup, and now he is the guy at left tackle. So we hear on that. Jonnu Smith update from yesterday and what Mike McDaniel said about how he wants him back. And I think Jonnu Smith is also in the same boat where his preference would be to get paid in Miami. But obviously if they don't abide, then that's why we're looking into trade talks here.
He's 30 years old, bro. He's 30 years old.
Yeah.
In 3 months, 30 years old. He has no guarantees on this contract after this. He's done. And if he blows out his knee for a shitty team, because you're not going to go anywhere, he knows it. Most of those guys in that locker room know that team, the young guys are just excited because they're all getting opportunities. But the veterans that were left or left knew that this team wasn't going anywhere. So they're all saying the right things. But in the end, Jonnu Smith is saying, bro, if I'm going to play for you guys and waste a year in this team on the twilight of my career, you better pay me for that shit. Or if not, trade my ass to somewhere where I can actually compete because you better pay me since I'm not going to really compete for anything here right now. That's basically what he's saying. He just can't say that publicly.
And if you see some money is being freed up, like the Dolphins, I don't have the number off the top of my head, but they have some room under the cap now based on not spending this offseason, and they're going to add more once they trade Jalen Ramsey now that it's post-June 1. Granted, they might have to eat some of that salary cap to facilitate a deal, but you look at that and you look at the season that you had and with the age that you are, and you're Jonnu Smith, and you say, yeah, I need to get a bigger chunk of this. I mean, his ranking in his average annual value of his contract among tight ends is 32. So coming off a Pro Bowl season and setting franchise records at the position, he is within reason to want a raise.
And let's call it like it is. Drew Rosenhaus, brother, you negotiated an absolutely shitty deal. All right, follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and it was me, not David, that said that, by the way, just in case, because we'll have Twitter people coming to David. Oh, David, I was listening to this segment, and when I heard the season was over, I had to turn it off. Oh, wait, that wasn't me. That was Big Ho. Let's make sure so we don't, I'm the one that said, hey, you guys that all talk shit about Drew Rosenhaus, well, guess why we're here? Because he negotiated a really shitty deal for him. Anyway, David Furones _ subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. We'll catch you on Friday, my brother.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
You got it. Welt Rheaume. We love Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume. They will make a great deal for you every time. Maybe not Drew Rosenhaus. You might find yourself the 32nd paid tight end in the NFL after 1 year. Well, that's because your agent didn't have good foresight. Well, Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume, they got great foresight. They'll take care of you. 954-966-4646. Don't end up with shitty lawyers or a shitty agent with a shitty deal. No, man. If you're dealing with bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, you call the guys that know how to get it done so you can end up with a great deal, not a shitty deal like Mr. Jonnu Smith has. Ooh, wow. Damn. Drew. Bad job. Jeff Welt, Daniel Rheaume. Great job.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.